So morning, Di. This recording is for Di. Okay, so excuse me. Let's bring myself up. Get rid of the frog. Right, so we're going to start in a seated position. So find yourself a comfortable seat. So you can sit on your mat or sit on a block, whichever feels good for you. And today we are working on our hips and our knees. And our theme is Ahimsa. So we've talked about Ahimsa before. Ahimsa is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. And it's a Yama, which means, it's a Sanskrit word, which means non-violence. So that doesn't just mean we're not going to go out and have fisticuffs with people. It means we're not violent to ourselves. So we're going to treat ourselves with a little bit of kid gloves, I suppose, this morning. Be gentle with ourselves, but having a little bit of work on our hips and our knees as we go along. So just bringing some movement, some flexibility into the hips and the knees, but not overdoing it. So only do what's right for you. And I will give you options as we go through it. So we're going to start in a breathing practice. So we'll just settle into class. So find yourself a comfortable seat. And remember to sit up straight and tall. So we're finding length in the spine. Sending the top of the head up to the ceiling. Relaxing the shoulders down towards the mat. So sort of round them towards the back and then release them down. So you're slightly lifting just the top part of your chest, not the sternum, not lifting the rib cage away from the hips, forward. It does come up and away in a vertical way as you lift your spine, but I don't want you to lift the chest that way, if that makes sense. And just close your eyes for a moment. Let everything settle. So feel that connection with the mat. Feel the sit bones connecting with the mat or your block. Each time you breathe in, try and breathe some length into the spine, to the top of the head. And as you breathe out, just relax into the mat. So feel as though the sit bones are sinking down into the mat. We're not slouching through the spine though as we do that. We're keeping that length. Just feeling the connection on the inhale. Lifting, feeling light through the body. Exhaling all the tension out of the body. Making that connection with the mat. So we're going to do a few rounds of Nadi Shodhana, which is balancing breath, balancing and cleansing. And this gives us all sorts of benefits. It lowers stress, it improves our cardiovascular function, and it calms and rejuvenates the nervous system. So to do Nadi Shodhana, keep your eyes closed. Just let your left hand rest somewhere in your lap and use your right hand to control the opening and closing of the nostrils. So I always place my first finger and middle finger somewhere around the middle of my forehead, and then hover your right thumb on your right nostril, your left ring finger around your left nostril, and your little finger doesn't do anything. So closing your left nostril with your ring finger, Take a deep breath in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Exhale through the left nostril. In through the left. Close the left. Open the right. Exhale. In through the right. Close the right. Open the left. Out through the left. Keep that breath going. Keep that feeling of lightness lengthening through the spine as you inhale. As you exhale, release all the tension in the body, sinking your hip bones down into the mat. And as you go through the breathing practice, just take your attention to anywhere that might be feeling tense. Maybe it is your hips. So breathe into that area. Breathe out and release. Nadi Shodhana, really good balancing breath. And they say it helps to alleviate any respiratory allergies as well. So this is quite a good one. If anybody suffers with allergies like hay fever, etc. So 2 more rounds, breathing in through the right, out through the left, in through the left, out through the right. Repeat that once more, in through the right, out through the left, in through the left, out through the right. And once you've done that, just drop your hands down to your lap. Place the palms one on top of the other. Doesn't matter which one is on top. And your thumbs will come together. Just join the thumbs. So remember to keep sitting up straight and tall. Just let your breathing come back to normal. As you sit here with your hands in this pose, thumbs connecting. This is called accomplished pose. You quite often see the Buddha statues like this. Hands just resting in your lap, thumbs connecting. Bringing the energy of the thumbs together. And then on your next exhalation, just drop your chin to your chest. Just take a few breaths here, releasing through the back of the neck. Just feel that lovely stretch. Should be going all the way down into the tops of the shoulders, towards the trapezius muscles. Gently blink your eyes open. And on your next inhalation, just lift your head. Well done. Welcome to class. So we're going to shift into Baddha Konasana. So from your seated position, just bring your feet out in front of you and just position them so that the soles of the feet come together. So the closer you've got your heels to your pubic bone, the more intense this stretch will be, the more open your hips will be. So you choose. If you don't feel like this morning, just allow the feet to come out a little bit further away from you. Otherwise, if your hips are feeling good, you can bring them in towards you. So interlace your fingers around the tops of your toes, and that will help you to keep this upright spine. So you engage in your tummy muscles, sending the top of the head up to the ceiling. Inhale. As you exhale, see if you can allow the knees to drop closer to the mat. So you can also use your blocks in this position. So blocks underneath the legs to the side to support the legs is also a good option. You're still going to get that opening through the hips. Keep breathing, sending your breath into that tightness in the inner groins. Allowing your shoulders to relax down. Remember, this is Ahimsa, non-violence. So we're not jamming our legs down into this position. We're encouraging the legs to open, getting more flexibility in the hips. Baddha Konasana. So with each exhalation, just see if the knees will rest down any further towards the mat or onto your block, whatever you're using. Keeping the spine straight and tall. One more breath. Now release your hands and take them behind you so that you're leaning back into the hands. The fingers are facing forward. Switch to the side, you can see me. So from this position, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just start to lift your chest and lean back into the arms. So just opening through the chest. Inhale and bring yourself back upright. Exhale, just maybe move the hands a little bit further. Lift the chest. Try not to sink down into the shoulders. We're lifting the chest, keeping the length in the spine, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale back to center. Once more, exhale. Lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. Let the knees drop open. Inhale, bring yourself back up to center. And then just slowly lower your back down onto the mat. So lowering down into Supta Baddha Konasana. Reclined butterfly pose. So again, you can use your blocks to support your knees or your thighs if you feel as though your legs are just hanging there. And the other area to be aware of is your lower back. Are you arching your lower back away from the mat? So just have your palms facing up with your arms alongside your body. And then tilt your pelvis up to the ceiling so that you're laying the whole of your spine on the mat. And then tilt it away. So now we're over exaggerating that arch. And you'll find as you do that, the inner groins will open a little bit more. So do that a few more times and then just let the back settle towards the mat. And once the back has found its neutral position, just allow the knees to drop open. So we're using gravity here to help our knees to drop to the side, helping the hips to open a little bit more. Always good to get this flexibility in our joints. If we don't keep them moving, they'll stop moving. So we don't want that, do we? Take a few more breaths in that position. Using the exhalation to melt the back into the mat, letting the knees drop open. And then on your next inhalation, engage your tummy muscles, start to bring your hands in close to the side and bring yourself up as elegantly as you can. And send your legs out in front of you, sitting up into Dandasana. So we're going to do a little knee exercise now. It's called Janu Chakra, or translates as knee crank. So letting your left leg stay in an outstretched position. Bring your right knee in close to your chest. So hug it in and keep that upright position with the right knee. So we want to keep an upright spine. And the only thing that's going to be moving here is the lower leg and from the knee joint. So see if you can slide your hands behind your thigh, your right thigh. Keep that upright position and keep this left foot active. So you imagine you're pressing the foot towards the skirting. As you inhale, lift the lower right leg and draw a big circle with your big toe. So you're circling around. Do it with your breath, breathing up, exhaling down. So breathing in, breathing out. So as you send this knee in this circular motion, the only thing that should be moving is the lower part of the leg. You're really trying to stabilize the upper part from the thigh. So this is called a knee crank, Janu Chakra. Chakras, we always talk about our chakras in the body, but that word chakra translates as wheel as well, or something spinning. So it sort of relates to this because we're doing this circular motion. That's why it's called Janu. Janu is knee chakra. So send the circle in the opposite direction now. So what you're doing here is you're strengthening the muscles that run down the side of the thigh towards the knee, because we don't have any muscles in our knee, and our knees are a vulnerable area. So this exercise is a really good one to do to work those muscles. And you can probably feel something happening in the shin and the calf as well as you rotate the leg. So release that leg back to the mat and swap over. We're going to do the other side. So hug your left leg in. Remember, the right leg stays active. We're just sliding our hands behind the left thigh, lifting the left knee, doing your circles, drawing that big circle with the left toe. Might be some clicks going on with your ankle. Mine's certainly clicking away. Remember to keep the straight spine, so we're sitting up straight and tall, not slouching back. And we've got this strong right foot. So the only thing that's moving is from the knee and the ankle. and then send it in the opposite direction. So this is quite a simple exercise to do anytime. So I always tell you to do things when you're watching the telly, and this is a really good one. Just sit on the floor for a moment, do an exercise. So we're in the opposite direction. Did I tell you that? I hope I did. And then release. Just give your knees a little bit of a massage. So sitting up straight and tall. Inhale and bend your right knee, hug it in towards your chest. Exhale as you drop it out to the right. Just let the sole of the foot press in towards the left thigh. So this one is called Janu Sirsasana. So Janu's knee, Sirsasana is head to knee, so a head movement. If you take your hands towards, place them on the mat, inhale, as you exhale, walk them out in front of you. So we're keeping that length through the spine. Your gaze is on your left big toe. Keep going. Feel how your lower rib cage will start to make contact with the left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you can go a little bit further. Use your exhalation to allow your body to drop down towards that left knee. The exhalation releases the muscles. Keep breathing. Inhale and slowly bring yourself back up. And then help this right knee back up into an upright position. Send it away on the mat. Inhale the left leg towards you. Exhale, drop it out to the side, so the sole of the foot's on the inside of your right thigh. Keep that straight spine, active right leg. Inhale. Exhale, start to walk your fingers out towards your right toes. Using the breath, inhaling and releasing, exhale, sinking down towards your leg, head to knee pose, Sirsasana. Keep breathing, releasing on the exhale. Good for the hamstrings as well, this one. On your next inhalation, bring yourself back upright. Help that left knee up and send it away. So we're going to come into a wide leg seated pose now. So open your legs as wide as is comfortable, keeping that straight spine. So maybe shift your buttocks away so that you've got a really good seat in this position. So find that length in your spine. Inhale. As you exhale, start to walk your hands through the middle, just sending your upper body forward, just as far as is comfortable for you. Feel how that's doing a nice hip flexion, a forward flexion, working on the inner groins and the hamstrings, breathing into that area. Breathing out, maybe you can send your hands a little bit further. So keep breathing, releasing down towards the mat. Upper Vista Konasana, wide leg. Seated forward fold. Lovely morning stretch. Inhale and walk yourself back. And then bring your legs back in towards your body, tuck them underneath. And we're going to bring ourselves up to a forward fold. So walk your hands back towards your toes and let your hands keep contact with the mat. You're in a forward fold. Uttanasana. So from this forward fold, really feel the connection with your feet and the mat. Send your hips up to the ceiling and check you're not locking the back of your knees. So really feel as though you're sending those heels into the mat and the hips away. And now lock the back of the knees. So send the knees back. Feel the difference. Can you see how when you lock the knees, you sort of interrupt any flow of energy through your legs? So now if you release the knees, just have a slight softness. Now you can lift your hips a little bit more and send them up to the ceiling and the heels into the mat. So I hope you can feel that difference when the knees are locked and when they're not locked. Inhale and slide your fingertips up to your shins. Create that flat back. Gazes to the mat. Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale. Exhale, slide your hands back to the mat. Forward fold. Hopefully this forward fold is feeling a little bit more open now with the moves that we did previously with our legs. Inhale and take your hands to your hips and slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself up to standing. Just let everything settle. Release your hands to the heart center. We had our head down below our heart for a little while there, so let our blood pressure settle. Shoulders are down and relaxed, tummy muscles engaged. Softness in the knees. Release your hands alongside your body. And just step your left leg forward and move to the side of the mat. So we've got our feet wider than hip distance apart. They're probably about 2 to 3 foot between them. So just find that wide leg stance. Have your feet so that they're parallel. So your toes are facing forward. And find some length in your spine. Release your shoulders down your back. So we're going to do a few knee exercises here. So take your hands to your hips. Engage your tummy muscles. Have a little bit of softness in the knees. Don't lock the knees, but feel that the legs are really strong. So your thighs are engaged. You've just pulled the muscle up at the top of the knee, but the knee itself is not locked back, and your calves and shins should feel strong. Inhale. As you exhale, take your upper body into that forward fold. So this movement, this strength is all in your legs. You're controlling the movement with the legs, but without locking the knees. Inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, go forward again. So it's a controlled move. It's all happening in the legs. Inhale up. Exhale. Just do one more. And then bring yourself back upright. So keep that strength in your legs. So feel as though the thighs are strong, the shins and the calves, the knees are not locked. It's important that the knees are not locked. Tummy muscles engaged, hands just resting along the sides of your legs. Inhale, exhale, slide the right hand down towards your right knee. So you're opening out through the left side of the body, keeping that strength in the legs. Inhale up, exhale over to the other side. So imagine you're between two panes of glass. Inhale up, exhale. As you run your hands up your legs, you should be able to feel the muscle at the side of your thighs, the quads here, engaging. So sliding your hands down on an exhale, inhaling back to center, sliding down on the exhale. Tummy muscles engaged. So this is all about the legs. It's the strengthening move for the knees. Once more on each side. Can you feel those muscles as you run your fingers down the side? Back up to upright position. So just checking in, you haven't locked your knees back. Take your hands to your hips. Inhale. As you exhale, twist the upper body around and looking over your right shoulder. Now your legs are staying rock solid. Your knees are facing forward. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the other side. So really feel that strength in your legs. And you're getting the added bonus of a twist. Inhale to center. Exhale all the way around, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale as you spin around to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale. Just check in with the knees again. Make sure you're not locking them. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. So these moves have all come from a Hatha yoga book. Just do one more as I explain that. I was introduced to them by my tutor, and this book was written by somebody called David Coulter, and he says if we do these moves, at least 5 of each one each day, and it should take about 20 minutes to do each of the moves over and over. So repeat the sets of 5 until you've done about 20 minutes of them, and you'll get really good, strong muscles around the knees and eliminate any problems with our knees, which is what we need to do. So well done. So come back to the center. Come to the end of your mat, and we'll just do a little flow here. Standing up straight and tall. Checking in with the soles of your feet, grounding them into the mat. Find the strength in your thighs, but don't block the knees. Engage the tummy muscles. Inhale, take your hands out wide, reaching up and overhead. Exhale, bend your knees and your hips, come down to the mat into Uttanasana, forward fold. At the top of the head, drop towards the mat. Inhale as you slide your fingertips up to your shins, create a half forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale. Exhale, slide your hands down to the mat, Uttanasana. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands out along the mat, one handprint at a time, downward facing dog. Just have a little walk with your heels, encouraging that opening through the hamstrings, all the way up to the hips. Let your head drop. And then with your next exhalation, just let your heels drop towards the mat. Downward facing dog. Inhale, bending your right knee. Exhale, send it forward, plant it between your hands. So we're going to just shimmy our left leg as far away as we can here. So we're really coming down into this lunge. You're up on your left toes. Your hands are on the mat alongside your right knee. So you should be feeling a nice opening through the psoas muscle on the left leg, all the way up and over the front of the left hip. Inhale. As you exhale, just send your weight back a little bit and lift your right toes. Inhale forward. Exhale back. So if you find this too much on your hips, you can take your knee down to the mat and just work forward and back in this position. Otherwise, with the knee up, you're getting a really good lengthening through the psoas muscle. So forward and back a few times. And then plant your right foot back onto the mat. Plant your hands on the mat, knee up or down, your choice. Inhale, lift your right hand up to the ceiling. Lovely, opening through the chest. Send your gaze up to your right hand. Inhale, exhale, hand to the mat. Inhale, exhale, release that foot back into downward facing dog. Just let your head drop through your arms. Take a breath here. On your next inhalation, start to get ready to step your left foot through on an exhale. So your right toes are up on the mat. Just shimmy that foot quite far away. Your hands will come down to the mat. It's an option to use blocks here as well if you find that this is not a comfortable position for you. If you lift your hands up on blocks, then that can ease that opening through the hips as well. Otherwise, inhale, exhale, shifting forward and back, encouraging that opening through the psoas muscle on the right side. And then bring yourself back to center, plant your hands, knee up or down on your right leg, your choice. Remember, it's Ahimsa, so only what's right for you. Inhale, lift your left hand up to the ceiling. Take your gaze to your left hand. Just having a little look at you. Brilliant. Exhale it back to the mat. Inhale, exhale, release your legs back into downward facing dog. Inhale as you walk your hands back towards your feet. Uttanasana. On your next inhalation, slowly, slowly bring yourself back up. Hands to the heart center. Well done. Everybody feeling okay? So we're going to move into our deep squat, Malasana. And I'm going to give you some options for this. So I'll just show you. If you're near a wall, you can just take your back to the wall with your knees wide and slide yourself down the wall and sit in that pose. And that is quite comfortable, honestly, trust me. Of course, if you can do the Malasana without any discomfort, you can do it on your mat. But if you start off with your feet on blocks, and then you can sit down into the squat. And that's a comfortable one too. And by having your heels lifted, you're easing any tension here on the knees and the hips. And if you want to do the third one, the one that's the full Malasana, hands to the heart center, feet wide, inhale, sit down into that pose. And there's another option with Malasana, and I can't do it without a block behind my heels. So I'll show you. When you're in this deep squat with the block, and I fall back otherwise, take your hands in front of you, really reach them out. Inhale, exhale, send them behind and interlace the fingers behind your back. Up, just get and fall back. So that's another option if you want to give it a try. Like this, a little bit like a turtle or a tortoise. So choose which one you like to do. Sliding down the wall is quite a nice one to get you into a deep squat in the morning. Very comfortable and supports your back, but gives you that nice opening through the hips. Seeing what choices you've made. I say, oh, well done, everyone. You're all in the deep squat. Not too much pain on your faces. So, well done. So come back to your mat. Just think of all the good that's doing for your hips. So we don't need a hip replacement. And I might have told you last week that my brother is having his second hip replacement tomorrow. So come back onto your mat. But in his defense, he's 6'8", and his bones just have had a lot of wear with that height, and he was a rugby player, so he needs his set, and he's 52 years of age, so 2 hip replacements. Okay, so let's come to Dandasana, stick pose. So your legs straight out in front of you. Feel as though you're pressing the soles of the feet against the skirting in front of you, and keep that upright spine. So imagine I'm pulling you up here by the crown of your head. Your hands can just rest on your thighs, or you can take them just alongside your body with your fingers pointing forward, and that actually helps to open the top of the chest. But don't sink into them, still lifting out of the shoulders. Stick pose. Inhale, Release your hands and bend your right knee. Place it over the left leg. So we're going to cradle our right knee in our left elbow. So hugging that in towards us, keeping the left leg out straight on the mat. Inhale your right hand forward, exhale it behind. See if you can bring it all the way around, wrapping it around your waist. Or you can place it on the floor behind you if that's more comfortable. So you're looking over your right shoulder. You should be feeling a nice opening in the right hip, the back of the right hip. Keep breathing. On your next exhalation, release your hand back to the front, release your leg. We're going to do the same on the other side. So inhale as you bend your left leg in towards you. Cup that elbow in your right arm, so that in the crook of the right arm. Keep that upright spine. Right leg is active. Inhale, send your left arm out in front of you, sweep it around. Maybe you can bring it around your waist towards your right thigh. You're looking over your left shoulder. Keep breathing. As you exhale, maybe you can twist a little bit further. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release that leg. So coming down onto the mat into semi-supine. We're going to do Supta Kapottanasana, which is a reclined pigeon. So as you inhale, lift your right leg up and place the ankle over the left thigh. So inhale, lift your head and shoulders away from the mat and clasp your hands behind the left thigh. As you exhale, just lower your head and shoulders back. Your left foot will come up away from the mat, and use your right arm to encourage that right leg to go out towards the side. So you can keep your left leg bent, or if you want to send it up into the air, just point the left toes away from you. So if you imagine if we were doing pigeon, we would be lying on the mat with our right foot tucked under us and out to the side, and the left leg sliding along the mat. So this is just a reclined version of pigeon. Pigeon can be quite an intense pose for a lot of people with their hips, so this is quite a nice variation, especially first thing in the morning. Inhale, exhale, bend the left leg, release the right leg, come back to semi-supine. And we'll move to the other side. So inhale as you lift your left leg, plant the left ankle over on the right thigh. So your left foot rather, is quite free of that leg. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders, take your hands through, interlace them behind the right thigh. Exhale, lay your head back on the mat. Option to lift your right leg. So use your left elbow to encourage that left leg to open out to the side. Keep breathing. Inhale, exhale, release your legs back to the mat. And on your next inhalation, hug them in over your chest, rolling back and forth. Just massaging your back into the mat. And then opening the knees wide enough so that you can slide your hands through the center of your legs. See if you can grab hold of the outside of your feet and encourage your knees to drop down towards your armpits. So as you do this, try and encourage your hips to stay down on the mat. So we're coming into happy baby, but we want to lengthen the spine out along the mat, dropping the hips towards the mat and sending the soles of the feet up to the ceiling as the knees drop down into the armpits. Breathing in, breathing out, send the knees towards the armpits, send the hips towards the mat. So you should be feeling that in the front hip crease of both of the hips. And if you want to, you can have a little rock from side to side. You can be a happy baby this morning. Enjoying this movement. Okay, so just take your hands behind your thighs and just start to roll back and forth on the mat. And really massage your spine from the base of the sacrum area all the way up to the bottom of the neck. And then bring yourself up to a excuse me, a tight curled up ball. Drop your head towards your knees. Cosmic egg. And then we're going to finish today in child's pose. So just tuck your feet underneath you. Come around to your mat. Few options for childs. You can have knees wide, sitting down onto the hips with your arms forward. You can keep your knees together. Take your arms alongside your body, maybe interlace your fingers behind your feet and rest your forehead down and stay curled up in a tight ball. You can have a block underneath your head. Just lifting the head away from the mat. But make sure that your forehead is connecting with something. If it's not reaching the mat, place it on the floor. Sorry, on the block. Just breathing in Balasana, child's pose. Breathing into the back body. Releasing through the backs of the shoulders. Releasing the spine. By having your forehead connected to the mat or the block, you're just activating the vagus nerve that comes up into the head. And that works with our parasympathetic nervous system. So helps to trigger the relaxation response. So just enjoy a few breaths in child's. Feel the back of the lungs opening as you're breathing deeply. expanding through the rib cage. And I'll just read you this nice little poem from Dana Folds. It's called Walk Slowly. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still. And just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line. But waking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. So when you're ready, slowly bring yourself back up to a seated position. Just allow your breath to settle. Allow your shoulders to relax. And we'll finish with our 3 breaths together. So taking your hands out wide, fingertips to the mat. Inhale, reaching up and overhead, take your gaze to your palms. Exhale through the heart center. Inhale, out and wide, reaching up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.